All right, we're taking a look at some problems where you're actually using the Pythagorean theorem for things you might actually see. I've actually done problems like this, used the Pythagorean theorem in things I've been building and things I've been figuring out. So we're going to use this thing for some real life stuff here. And we're going to get these problems from Delta Math. Let's just pull one up here and start into it. Take a look. So what we've got is a ladder that's been placed against a building. And it's a 50-foot ladder. It's placed against the top of a 14-foot building. And they want me to figure out how far is the bottom of the ladder going to be from the bottom of the building. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is step back over here and set this up so I can draw on the screen. And so here we go. I'll make a building here. And I'll make a ladder. It goes out like this. Now, the assumption here is that we put the ladder right at the edge of the building. Nobody's going to do that, or at least they're not going to do it more than once, because they should be smart enough to put the ladder sticking up over the edge of the building. But the implication here is that it's been placed against the top of the building right there. So we'll play along and see what they say. This thing is 50 feet long right here. And the building, as they said, was 14 feet tall. And here's the question. How far is this? Right in there. Okay, well, you'll notice that assuming they built the building straight up and down, this is a right triangle in here. Okay, there's a right angle. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem and say, look, if this side's A, then I know A squared plus B squared has to equal C squared, where A and B are the two short sides and C is the long side. So the long side here is 50. And let's just say A squared is the unknown, and this is 14 squared. Okay. Well, just like we've done before, I need to find out how long is A. Well, first let's do a couple things here. I know this is 196, and I know this is 2500. So what I'm going to end up doing is saying, look, first let's subtract 196 from each side. So let's grab that, see what we can get here. That's not what I want to do at all. Okay, so I'm back at it. What I'm going to end up doing is taking 2500 and subtracting 196, and I'll just do that on a calculator here. 2500 minus 196. That gets me 2304. Just like we've done before, now what I need to do is square root that to find out what A is. So I'll get that on a calculator, and I get A is 48. Okay. And so what I'll do is go over here, turn that thing back off, and then go back to there and type in 48. Okay, got it. Let's look at another one. Okay, here I've got a certain television is advertised as a 37-inch TV. That's the diagonal length, and the width of it is 12 inches. So how tall is it? So I think rather than messing around trying to draw on the screen, I'm going to just copy that, and I'll do that by magic this way. All right, so what we've got is a television, and they say it is 37 inches from one side, one corner to the other. Okay, so 37 inches. Okay, and they also tell me it's 12 inches tall. And the question is, well, you know what? They say it's 12 inches wide, which doesn't make much sense, but I'll just put it down here anyway because they asked me how tall is it. Tall usually has to do with height, so we'll just put that down there. Either way, what we're supposed to be doing is finding the length of this short side over here when I know the long side of a right triangle is 37 and the other short side is 12. Okay? So I'm going to end up doing A squared plus 12 squared equals 37 squared. Okay? So as you probably know, what I'm going to end up doing is taking the squares of each of these. I'll end up subtracting 12 squared from 37 squared, and then I'll take the square root. So what I'm going to do is just do a kind of a shortcut here. Remember, I'm going to be taking 37 squared minus 12 squared and then square rooting that. So let me show you how you can do that on the calculator here. Okay. 37 squared. Okay, squared you can get by Shift 6, or you can come down here and hit this button, squared there, minus 12 squared. Okay. And then I want to square root that. So to do that, I'm going to step right over here and just hit this square root button. And, oh, you know what? I'll just see if I can stick that right into there. I'm going to delete it and paste it right here. There we go. So notice that the answer is 35 right there. So now let's go back over here to Delta Math, type in 35, and get my answer. All right, here's a new problem. So you started driving north for 27 miles and then east for 36 miles, and when you're done, what's the straight line distance to how far are you? I'm sorry, to your starting point. So let's look back over here and draw a picture of that. That was 37 and 12. Nope, 27 north and 36 east. So 27 north, 36 east. (27), 36. And what they want me to tell you is, how far is that? Well, it's a right triangle because this is straight north, that's straight east. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem again. And again, we're going to say there's two short sides are 36 and 27. We'll square each of those. And that's got to be equal to whatever this distance is squared. I call that D for distance. Okay, or C for whatever. So in the end, we're going to end up squaring 36 and squaring 27, adding them together, and then square rooting that to find out what D is. Well, if you go back to the calculator, I've already got a square root here. Okay. What were those numbers? 27 and 36. And I want to be adding these together. Okay. So I get 45. So what I did there was just type the whole thing into Desmos and tell it to do the calculation, because honestly, I really didn't care what 27 squared was and what 36 squared is, or what it is when I add them together. I just wanted to know the end result. So I just used the calculator and told it to tell me. So here I go, 45. Uh-oh. Was it 27 or did I get those numbers wrong? Yep, 27, 36. So 45 miles. Let's do one more. Okay. This time I've got a diagonal length of 29 and a width of 20, and they want to know how tall it is. So let me go back to here. That was 29 diagonal and 20 the width. So let's just go back to that previous TV we're looking at. 29 diagonal and 20. Okay. When it's all said and done, though, we're still going to be doing the same thing. A squared plus 20 squared equals 29 squared. When it's all said and done, I'll be taking 29 squared and subtracting 20 squared, and then square rooting that. So I'm going to memorize those numbers 29 and 20, and then I want to be subtracting. So here I go back to the calculator. 29 and 20, and I want to be subtracting. Okay, so 21. So this saved me the effort of having to type all that stuff in my calculator. So 21, go back to the Delta Math, type in 21, And I got my answer. There we go. All right. Hopefully that helps.